Take a slow breath and let your shoulders drop. Listen with your heart, not your ears. Because if you're here, someone feels your absence, even if they never say your name. There's a quiet distance growing, and they feel it before you do. Some people don't panic when they lose you. They change silently, and that's the most revealing part. You don't always notice the moment someone feels you slipping away. There's no announcement, no dramatic goodbye, just a subtle shift in their energy, their silence, their timing. One day you stop explaining yourself as much. You stop waiting for replies. You stop bending in places that once hurt too much, and something inside them senses it, not because you said anything, but because your presence changed. This video isn't about chasing, it's about understanding what happens inside someone's heart when they realize they're slowly losing the person who once made them feel safe, seen, and chosen. Stay with me till the end, because what they do next often says more than words ever could. 1. They become quietly observant. When that person feels you slipping away, they don't always react loudly. Most of the time, they become very quiet. They start watching instead of speaking, noticing instead of asking, paying attention to things they once took for granted. They see how you smile differently now, how your energy doesn't rush toward them anymore, how your replies feel lighter, less attached. And this silence isn't confidence, it's confusion. They replay moments in their head late at night. They remember how easily they used to reach you, how your presence once felt permanent. Now they're unsure, so they watch your stories. They reread old messages. They wonder who you're becoming without them. This stage is subtle but powerful because it's the moment they realize you're no longer standing still where they left you, and that realization quietly shakes them. 2. They feel the loss before it fully happens. Before you completely leave their life, something inside them already aches. It's not panic yet. It's a quiet heaviness they don't know how to name. They feel it in the pauses between moments, in the way your laughter no longer reaches them the same way, in the space where your warmth used to arrive without effort. They start missing you, even while you're still there. This is the confusing part for them, because you haven't disappeared, you've just stopped reaching first. And that shift does something strange to their heart. They feel unsettled when your name doesn't light up their phone. They wonder why your absence feels louder than your presence ever did. They replay conversations, searching for the exact moment things changed. But the truth is, it wasn't one moment. It was 1,000 small realizations that you stopped waiting, that you stopped asking for more, that you stopped proving your worth. And they feel that loss like a slow echo. Some nights, they almost reach out, but pride, fear, or unfinished emotions stop them. They don't know yet if they've lost you, but they know something sacred is slipping through their fingers. And that uncertainty is often more painful than loss itself, because deep down, they sense it. The version of you who once stayed without question is quietly learning how to let go. 3. Their heart enters a silent conflict. When that person feels you slipping away, their heart begins to argue with itself, not loudly, not dramatically, but in the quiet moments when no one is watching. One part of them wants to reach out, to say something honest, to admit they feel the distance growing. The other part tells them to stay still, to protect their pride, to pretend they don't care as much as they do, and so they do nothing. But inside, they are restless. They think about you at unexpected times, during ordinary moments that suddenly feel incomplete. They wonder how someone who once felt so close now feels just out of reach, They start questioning themselves in ways they never did before. Did they assume you would always stay? Did they give less because they thought you'd give more? Did they misunderstand your patience as permanence? These questions don't have easy answers, and that's what troubles them most. They remember how you showed up quietly, how you loved without conditions or performance, how you stayed even when it wasn't easy, and now they feel the weight of that love, only because it's no longer guaranteed. This inner conflict exhausts them because they want to believe they still have time. But something inside whispers that time doesn't wait forever. They are standing at the edge of realization, unsure whether to step forward or let the moment pass. And the hardest part, they know that whatever they choose next might decide whether you stay or become a memory they carry in silence. 4. Their actions begin to speak. There comes a moment when silence becomes too heavy to carry, when pretending stops working, when feelings demand movement. That's when their behavior begins to change. They might reach out casually, pretending it means nothing. A simple message, a small reaction, a memory brought up without explanation, not because they don't care, but because caring feels risky now. They test the distance between you. They want to see if you still respond the same way, if your warmth is still there, if your presence still feels familiar. Sometimes they become more attentive. They listen more closely. They remember details they once overlooked. Other times they pull back again, afraid of revealing too much too soon. This back and forth isn't confusion, it's fear. Fear of admitting they waited too long. Fear of realizing they may have taken your love for granted. Fear of discovering that you've already learned how to live without them. And yet, even in their hesitation, one truth becomes clear. You matter more now than ever before, because loss has a way of sharpening awareness. They feel the absence of your effort, the quiet strength in your distance, the way you no longer chase what no longer chooses you. And that realization humbles them to the version of you that doesn't need to be seen to know their own worth. And that is the moment everything changes. 5. They realize too late what they risked losing. There is a moment that comes quietly, no drama, no announcement, just a sudden clarity that arrives when it's already late. They realize you're no longer waiting, not angrily, not bitterly, but peacefully. And that peace is what unsettles them the most, because they remember the version of you who once stayed, who explained instead of leaving, who hoped instead of walking away, who believed love could grow if given enough patience. But you're different now, not colder, just stronger. They see it in the way you no longer ask for reassurance, in how you don't lean on their words to feel secure, in how your silence doesn't beg anymore. It protects. And suddenly they understand. You didn't leave in one moment. You left slowly, when your effort went unseen, when your love became expected, when your presence stopped being cherished. They feel the weight of that truth now, not because they lost control, but because they lost access to a version of you that loved without hesitation. And regret doesn't scream. It sits quietly in the chest, asking questions that no longer have answers. They finally see your value, not because you changed, but because you stopped shrinking to be chosen. And that realization stays with them long after you've moved forward. If you're listening to this and something feels familiar, take a moment and breathe. Not every loss is loud. Some losses arrive as calm acceptance. Walking away doesn't always mean you stopped caring. Sometimes it means you learned how to care for yourself. If someone feels you slipping away, it's often because you finally chose peace over persistence, self-respect over waiting, truth over hope that hurts. And that choice matters, If this spoke to your heart, I want you to write one word in the comments. A word that describes what you're choosing now. Peace, closure, strength. Letting go. You're not alone here, and your story is still unfolding.